Steve was saying that's to do here, but is he capable of doing it? One of the greatest of the Cubans. Runner-up in the Olympics in Barcelona, runner-up in Atlanta, four-time world champion, Juan Hernandez, 31 years of age now. And he's got a tricky one, because up against him, in the blue corner, Ermakhan Ibraim, bronze medalist in the Olympics in Atlanta, runner-up in the World Championships in '97 to Hernandez.
And a lot of people are saying Ibraim can win this.
Well, the Cubans have shown themselves to be pretty vulnerable so far this evening. Two thundering losses. Rodriguez beaten by Ponlid in the flyweights. And Aguilera going out to Zamaludinov. So Hernandez, 31 years of age, against the 28-year-old Ibraim.
Fascinating prospect, this one, Simon, isn't it? And this could be a classic. Ibraim goes chasing, but Hernandez, we know, is going to skirt this ring and keep out of trouble.
Hernandez has won both his fights with stoppages because he's outclassed his opponents. Zhu Mba from Gabon and Mohamed Saleh Mamouri from Tunisia. And that's the same from Ibraim. He outclassed Joseph Massis of Syria and then Heli Yanes of Venezuela. So class everywhere you look here.
All southpaw encounter, and don't expect Hernandez to stand still for too long here. He likes to just keep on moving. I don't think he trusts his chin at 31 years of age. And if it's going to be tested at all, it's someone like Ibraim who's going to do it.
Oh. Good work from Hernandez.
Well, that was a lovely little swift right from Ibraim.
Remember, by a twist of fate, it was a fighter from Kazakhstan, Dildabekov, who took out Rubalcaba in the super heavyweights earlier on today. So they really will not fancy the guy from Kazakhstan.
And they're all talking about the Kazakhstan fighters, aren't they, Simon? I mean, they are really going great guns at the moment. The Cubans came into this stage of the tournament with 3 left here in this part of the draw, these weight divisions. And the Kazakhs are coming with 2, so, and this is one of them, and a very good one at that. And we did say that Hernandez, if he's going to get beat at all at this point, it'll be by this man. Decent left cross there from Hernandez, didn't score. I think there's a lot of sympathy, though, for Hernandez, who, of course, as you said, Simon, has got silver on 2 occasions. I think the powers that be would like to see him retire with a gold, wouldn't they?
You'd like to think so, but the Cubans haven't been overmarked, have they, in this tournament? You've been saying to me in past tournaments, the judges seem to have looked and almost been mesmerized by anybody coming out of Cuba. But that hasn't been the case here.
No, the gap, of course, and I mentioned this right at the very beginning, the gap between the old nations that, you know, if you found yourself drawn against an African, it wasn't much of a problem, but the gap, especially the North Africans, has narrowed considerably now.
So a good start from Ermakhan Ibraim. He starts at round 2 on level terms against the 4-time world champion Hernandez from Cuba. But only for a few seconds.
And of course the other Hernandez of Cuba, Ariel Hernandez, turned professional. And we saw his professional debut, in fact, on Eurosport. professional boxing, outlawed in Cuba. But a lot of people reckon that when Castro ceases to be, that will change.
Well, Ibraim has stayed with him.
Of course, there are rumours, Simon, that Fidel Castro is actually coming to the finals. But the way things are going for the Cubans, he might not need to bother.
Absolutely. He's got Savon through to the semi-final. That will be tomorrow. The semi-finals start tomorrow. This is the last session in the quarter-finals. Semi-finals Thursday, Friday. The finals Saturday, Sunday, and you can watch them all here on British Eurosport.
And this is proving as tough for Hernandez as was anticipated. Ibraim desperately wants a place in the semis. Takes a couple of good shots there, though, but they don't get scores, surprisingly. And it's the inconsistencies of the system, Simon, isn't it, that are most worrying.
That's true. They're tending 99% of the time to get the right winner. But sometimes we sense it from the wrong route. Just a little bit of afters there from Hernandez, but nothing too venomous.
No, he pulled that one right at the end, didn't he?
So they were locked at 3-all at the end of the first round, and now locked at 6 each at the end of round 2. And you sense that's the way it's going to go, right the way through to the close. And all Cuba will be almost praying that Hernandez can pull that out. Here's Evander Holyfield. Incidentally, Ibraim was asked who his most influential person was, and he said Mike Tyson. I don't think Holyfield will necessarily agree with that. So we're into round 3. Hernandez of Cuba, Ibraim of Kazakhstan, locked together.
And there's something in me, Simon, having witnessed, of course, the Barcelona and the Atlanta games, that really hopes that Hernandez will bow out with the gold. But I want to see him do it legitimately. I don't want to see them bending over backwards out of sympathy. Well, Ibraim looking as dangerous as we anticipated. And there's a lot left in this one, I think.
Pattern the same. Ibraim looking for Hernandez. Hernandez looking to keep it at long reach and mostly on the back foot.
But there comes a point when all of this running and this pressure begins to tell. And, you know, you've got to imagine that Hernandez, with his quality and class experience, could handle it. But you just never know, do you? 1 point behind now. Again, a lovely solid shot there from Ibraim.
I just wonder whether the Cubans going back into the locker rooms and in dismay, if that just undermined a little bit the confidence. They had that aura of invincibility. It's been shattered today, and Hernandez just doesn't look too confident.
It does filter down to the rest of the team, doesn't it?
Seems to have.
It's got to.
Maybe it's old age catching up on him, but he just doesn't look the fighter that you saw in Atlanta or in Barcelona.
Of course, Michael Carruth, of course, the Irishman, beat Hernandez for gold in Barcelona.
3 points clear. Desperation now for Cuba. And Ibraim scoring 3-0 in that round and moves out to what may be a commanding lead. Now look at this. He is getting a severe talking to.
And you don't get that from Segarra. He doesn't lose it like that. And, you know, it's really chipping away at him now, isn't it? The men he's lost today were men he'd fancied to go on to win a gold medal, and it's really getting him down. And that gets transferred to the boxers too.
So plenty of support for Ibrahimov, and the Kazakhstan could be on the verge of another major victory here against Juan Hernandez of Cuba. 9-6 going into the final round.
But more importantly, Simon, it's the first time in all of his Olympic experience he'll go out without a medal, let alone a gold. He's already had 2 silvers, of course. And Ibrahimov looking the business. Tactics have been superb. He knows he's a pressure fighter, that's all he knows. Hernandez, he knew Hernandez would run, he'd have to go looking for him, and he's done that. He's stayed on top of him pretty effectively, although having said that, I don't think Hernandez has been properly rewarded for the sort of effort he's put in.
He just looks lacking in confidence for someone who's achieved so much. Whether that confidence has been undermined by the defeats of his compatriots, or whether he's just a little over the top and knows it. But he's getting beaten here. He's going further behind. Another big story unfolding in front of us.
And don't forget the World Championships where Hernandez was adjudged the loser. They appealed venomously about the decision. It got overturned eventually, but they went home, the Cubans.
Left thudding through to the face of Ibrahimov, not scoring.
Hernandez is on his way home, isn't he?
Yes. On the front foot now. But he needs a knockout, no doubt about it. Even with his talent, he's not going to turn a 5-point margin around in the last minute. He needs the knockout punch. Has he got it within him?
I'd say no. This Kazakh is a tough little guy, isn't he?
Certainly is. What a day it's been for Kazakhstan.
You wouldn't want to go to Kazakhstan and pick a fight in a bar, would you?
You might.
No, I wouldn't. 7 points now, the gap for Ibrahimov. Not sure that's a true reflection of what we've seen. I think he's winning it.
Yes, but not by that margin.
Probably not.
Teak tough, these guys from Kazakhstan.
And we don't even know where it is, do we? Oh, well, a lovely left hand there. Hernandez staggers on the front foot.
With the breakdown of the breakup of the Soviet Union, Kazakhstan coming into a nation on its own, and well, boxing is obviously a major force there. We've seen Dildabekov beating Rubalcaba earlier on today, and here right now another major name in world boxing, Ermakhan Ibraimov, has beaten Juan Hernandez, who goes out of the games here, surely his last games, without a medal.
Tough fight or two, and 16-9 I think that one finished in favour of Ermakhan Ibraimov, and we did anticipate, Simon, didn't we, coming into this one, that if Hernandez was going to get beat at all here, it was by this guy, and I'm glad to say, well, I'm not glad to say, but it's nice to be right, isn't it, once in a while?
Sure is. What a desperate day for Cuba. 3 of their biggest names out, no medals.
And this is the darling of the team.
There'll be no protest this time, no grounds at all. Juan Hernandez looking less than himself, and Ermakhan Ibraimov took advantage of a man fighting seemingly over one bridge too far. And 16-9.